This is the world's most expensive sunscreen, and this is the cheaper alternative. Let's see how these two sunscreens stack up against each other. On the expensive side, we have La Prairie's Cellular Swiss UV Protection Veil, SPF 30 for $235. Compare that to CeraVe's Facial Moisturizing Lotion, SPF 30 for $13. Here are the criteria that will be used to evaluate our competitors. Does it provide reliable sun protection? Are there other ingredients included that are beneficial to our skin? Packaging and presentation. Does the packaging make sense for a sunscreen? How does the product feel? Did I enjoy applying it? Could I realistically apply enough product for adequate protection? What is the value for the price? Let's dive into the sun protection that each of our competitors offers. Both have an SPF of 30, so they each offer the same degree of sun protection. What about the specific filters? La Prairie is a chemical sunscreen advertised as a powerful, lightweight veil of protection for your face. Looking at the ingredients list, this is actually a pretty good sunscreen, formula-wise. It contains 3 reliable UVB and 1 reliable UVA filters. So yes, this sunscreen does offer adequate sun protection. How does CeraVe, our inexpensive competitor, hold up? The CeraVe Facial Moisturizer SPF 30 is a lightweight, organic and inorganic sunscreen, meaning it uses both chemical and mineral filters for sun protection. For UVB protection, it uses homosalate, 10%, miradomate, 5%, as well as 3 broad-spectrum filters, octinoxate, 5%, octocrylene, 2%, and zinc oxide, 6.3%, to cover the UVA spectrum. Yes, this sunscreen also offers adequate protection. Does one have better filters than the other? Not really. All the filters used have benefits. Some people find avobenzone irritating to the eyes, so they might prefer an avobenzone-free sunscreen. As long as you have FDA-approved broad-spectrum filters that cover the UVA and UVB spectrum, it really comes down to personal preference. Now let's look at beneficial ingredients and see if one sunscreen comes out on top. La Prairie includes a host of peptides, humectants, and antioxidants that can be beneficial to skin and help boost the UV stability of sunscreen to varying degrees, mostly by counteracting free radicals. These include vitamin E, vitamin C, and pycnogenol. La Prairie includes their exclusive cellular complex, which consists of glycoproteins, ginseng root extract, horsetail extract, yeast extract, and lactobacillus ferment. It's a mix of known ingredients that, may have some anti-aging properties, but they're not as well researched as the antioxidants. La Prairie also includes fragrance, which may contain components that are photosensitizing. What about CeraVe? The CeraVe sunscreen also has some interesting and beneficial ingredients, including 3 ceramides, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide or vitamin B3, which can all help to calm and moisturize the skin. This is a simpler formula than La Prairie. However, having a shorter ingredient list also has its advantages. Fewer ingredients decrease the opportunity for allergic reactions or irritation for those with reactive skin. The omission of fragrance also makes this a potentially less irritating option. These are close in formula. Slight advantage to La Prairie for the inclusion of more antioxidants, but the fragrance might be a deterrent for some. Moving on to packaging. The CeraVe sunscreen comes in a more simple box. When opening the box, what you get inside is the sunscreen, which is really all you need. With the CeraVe, I noticed that it took many pumps to actually get the sunscreen out, which was kind of annoying, but very standard for any kind of pump bottle. I feel that this bottle is easy to hold in my hand and it's pretty ergonomic. Overall, this was a pretty standard experience with unboxing of CeraVe. The La Prairie unpackaging experience was definitely different. It comes in this robust box that has samples inside, and then there's another box inside that has the actual sunscreen. So it definitely took some time to be able to get the sunscreen in hand, but then once you have it in hand, it feels different. It has a more premium type of appearance. This one is more of a squeezable tube type of setup that doesn't have any pump mechanism. And the aesthetics of opening this cap where you have to twist it off, and just the way that works is pretty interesting. Overall, the winner for packaging is La Prairie. Now let's talk about how they apply onto the skin. Now let's see how CeraVe feels when I apply it onto my face. It's a pretty easy application overall. Feels smooth, feels like it's absorbing pretty quickly. Good spreadability. I think I like it. And now let's try to apply La Prairie on the other side of the face. So this one feels like almost like more watery, like it's wanting to spread beyond where I'm putting it, but also makes it, more spreadable, I guess. It seems to absorb less readily than the CeraVe. And it has a pretty strong fragrance to it, which maybe, I don't know, works well for women, but not so much for men sometimes. It still feels like it hasn't really absorbed in. But again, if you're buying something this expensive, you want a little bit of it to go a long way. My fingers feel more oily as well with the La Prairie. If I had to pick a winner here, it would be CeraVe. It just doesn't have as much of a smell to it, which I like. I appreciate more of a neutrality when it comes to smell. And I felt like it was going more of where I was putting it and absorbing quicker. Now let's look at price. At a whopping $235 for a 50 ml bottle or 1.7 ounces of product, and this comes out to over $2,000 per pound of product. Is it worth the price? Well, you would need to apply roughly 0.04 ounces of sunscreen to your face for adequate sun protection, meaning that this sunscreen only has about 42 applications in a 50 ml tube, and that's not counting reapplication, which you should be doing. At $5.53 per application, I just don't see anyone applying this product properly. Despite a good formula, the cost of this sunscreen is prohibitive for most people. CeraVe's facial moisturizing lotion SPF 30, on the other hand, is $13 for 3 ounces or $100 per pound of product. With 75 applications for the face per bottle, an application of 0.04 ounces runs you less than 25 cents. At this price point, you're more likely to apply enough, so CeraVe has the advantage. So the overall winner is CeraVe. Practice sun safety. The sunscreen you apply reliably is the best sunscreen to use. Wear a hat. Cover up. And avoid sun exposure from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. when ultraviolet rays are the strongest.